a girl that hates Christmas, a demonic elf, inbreeding, and Nazis. And that's the main things about this movie. Don't do this unless you don't have a life. I was going through horror movies by year because I have this book that I write horror movie titles in that I want to watch. And I came across this movie called Elves, and I thought, since it's nearly Christmas, I thought I'd do a review of a Christmas movie, so I chose this one. And as soon as I discovered this movie, a lot of people that I follow on Instagram started posting about this movie, and it made me more nervous to do this movie review because a lot of people have watched this movie recently, and I'm just like really worried that I'm going to fuck this up. Elves is a horror movie from 1989. It's too close to the 90s for there to be any like 80s coolness. The story, which I've made as simple as I can, a group of girls go out and they do an anti-Christmas ritual because they all hate Christmas. And the main character, Kirsten, cuts her hand and her blood goes all over the ground, and this awakens a demonic elf. You find out later in the film that the elf was created by Nazis because the Nazis wanted a master race, and this master race was half human, half elf hybrids. And in order for this master race to happen, this elf has to mate with a virgin on Christmas Eve. Kirsten obviously is the virgin that the elf needs to mate with. This is a really weird movie. The elves do not look like your little Christmas elves. Apparently, the Nazis practiced this cult religion. I don't know what it was called, but in this religion were elves, and these elves look like really ugly humans, sort of. They get described as looking like trolls. I would probably describe these things as looking like trolls. They're sort of like slimy green skins. They've got like white hair, pointy ears. It's just a man in a rubber suit, and it can't shut its mouth because it's a rubber suit. The only other thing that annoyed me about these elves, that in comparison to the rest of their body, they had really small hands. I don't know why this bothered me. Maybe it was the last few days I've been watching Chucky, and it sort of just reminded me of like a little Chucky doll hand, because there are some scenes where you just see their hands for some reason. So that and the fact that their mouths don't shut really annoyed me. There's a little boy in this movie called Willie, and you probably don't know this about me, but I really like the band Sweet. So whenever this boy's name was mentioned, I just automatically thought of the song Little Willie. Do you even know what that song is? Like, I could sing it for you with my horrendous singing voice. It's like, Little Willie, Willie won't go home. Did you know this song? So whenever his name was mentioned, that would be me just singing this song. And, you know, then I wonder why no one watches movies with me. The other cool thing about Willie is his pajamas. Now, if you've watched one of my previous reviews, I talk about pajamas in that movie as well. So you're probably like, what is this bitch obsession with fucking pajamas? And, you know, when you spend most of your life wearing pajamas because you don't fucking leave the house, you care about pajamas. You're like, people go clothes shopping, I'll just go pajama shopping because I just looking for some cool as fuck pajamas to wear around the house. And his pajamas were of the Ninja Turtles, and I almost fucking died as soon as this kid is on the screen. So the first time you see this kid called Willie, he's wearing Ninja Turtle pajamas, which I thought was amazing. There's an ex-cop in this movie, and I don't even know what his character name was because I just started referring to him as Lebowski, from The Big Lebowski. He was sort of just like really laid back, softly spoken. He had like long hair and a beard, and didn't wear a cardigan, but he wore like a sweater thing. I'm pretty sure he wore the exact same outfit through the entire movie. So I just called him Lebowski. And there's a few other things in this movie, I guess. Like, I wrote down some quotes that stood out to me for some reason. At the start of the movie, when they're doing their little ritual thing, I think it might have been Kirsten that drew this picture, I don't remember. But she shows the other two girls that she's with this picture that she drew. And while she's showing them this picture, she points at the girl's chest and she says, I drew those Art Deco boobs. Pretty cool, huh? I'm like, okay. And later on, those Deco boobs get turned into swastikas. The mother in this movie is crazy. You find out later on why, but at the start of the movie, for some reason, they really wanted you to know that this person is crazy. There's just something wrong with her and she hates her daughter. You find out later on why that is. I won't talk about it. It just has something to do with what I said at the beginning of this video. There's a scene with the mother where she kills her daughter's cat. And I love cats, so I was like, what the fuck is she doing? She picks up her daughter's cat and puts it in a bag and she drowns it in the toilet. And then she buries it in the backyard. And I don't know why we had to see that, but according to the people who made this movie, that was really necessary and important. Another good quote in this movie is, when there is no more room in hell, the elves will walk the earth. I thought that was awesome. The way the teenage girls talk to each other is pretty hilarious. Like, I don't know if the people that made this film are familiar with teenage girls. I was once a teenage girl, and I never spoke like this. So there's a scene in this movie where two of the girls are talking to each other, they're not the main characters, and it goes something like this. No way. Way. I said no way. Whatever. And that's the entire scene. I don't even understand what they were talking. Like, I don't remember what they were talking about at all. In the middle of the movie, there's a gunfight with Lebowski and the Nazis in a shopping centre, and like a siren is going off and so there's all these loud noises. And the one thing that annoyed me about this scene was the girls in this scene, instead of like covering their ears like this because the noise was too loud, they're like this. So they're like covering their temples like they've got a really bad headache or something. And it was just the strangest thing that it was strange. The acting isn't that great. It's not as bad as some other movies that I've seen, but like there was a scene in the film with the shop owner, and while he's having this angry tantrum at Lebowski, he keeps looking at the camera, and it just threw me off. Like, I know that I'm watching a movie, but then I'm like even more aware that I'm watching a movie when you've got someone in the movie that's looking directly at the camera, not on purpose, just because I guess they're kind of nervous or something. I liked this quote, and like if you watch movie reviews, you're probably aware that you're going to find out things about the movie. If you don't want to find out things about the movie, then don't watch movie reviews. So this quote, which I'm going to say, the mother and her daughter are having an argument about something. I think the daughter wants to meet her father or something, so the mother is like hysterical, and she says, "The man in the study is your grandfather and your father." And the daughter like burst into tears and runs away. And it and like I don't think this movie could get any stranger. That's basically Elves. Like, I didn't actually know anything about this movie before I started watching it. I just thought, oh, Elves, Christmas, it's nearly Christmas, I'll watch this movie. And while I'm watching it, Nazis and inbreeding, and I'm like, holy shit, there's so much going on in this movie right now. Because it starts off and you just think, oh, she's accidentally summoned some evil Christmas spirit from the ground, and no, it's Nazis. So, I don't know if this movie is good. It's not a so bad it's bad, and it's also not a so bad it's good. It's sort of like a what the fuck is going on kind of movie. If you're into, like, obviously if you're into horror movies and you like Christmas horror movies, I would probably check this out. Like, it's just so ridiculous that you should probably watch it. It's serious. Like, it's not like Don't Panic where I thought it was like hilarious. Hilarious. It was so bad that it was hilarious. Like, I didn't really laugh that much during this movie, except for those scenes with the quotes that I've said. But it's a serious movie, and it's ridiculous, and you should probably watch it. So yeah, if you've seen this movie, leave a comment. Let me, like, tell me what you thought of it. I don't know if this is going to make you want to see the movie. It probably wouldn't. I tried to make the story sound as simple as possible without giving too much away. Well, I sort of gave the whole thing away, but whatever. You might see me again next week. I might actually do a review that someone requested this time. I have a bunch of crap. I purposely asked for crap horror movies, so I'm going to do another crap one. Maybe that can be my thing, reviewing crap movies. So yeah. Elves. Nazis and shit. I'll see you next time.